today's era is not an era of war. And diplomacy and dialogue is important. But you won't believe it that actually China opposed it. We managed to diplomatically isolate China, and we managed to ensure that 19 out of the 20 members supported us, and finally China also agreed along with the 19 members. This issue was constantly being discussed on how to find a way out. Because if G20 makes a very political statement, it moves away from its core area, that is economics. And finally, we had to convince G7 that let's go back to the United Nations statement. And we had to convince, firstly, the Russian Sherpa that is better because the UN had already voted in the Security Council. India had abstained. So India's position was brought in by putting the voting pattern. The statement also brings out the voting pattern. That was replicated in that para. And then we had to convince them, and then Mr. Lavrov had to be convinced, and a lot of backdoor negotiations were done for that between the Indonesian Foreign Minister, Mr. Lavrov, our own minister, Mr. Jaishankar played a key role, all of them. Many ministers played a key role in the back door. While the Sherpa negotiations were done, we had to convince, we had to take Russia also on board. And finally, Russia agreed that the right approach is to go with the UN resolution because that had become public, it had already been voted, and the political statement was coming from the United Nations Security Council, and therefore it was acceptable to Russia as well. And then it was finally agreed by China also.
So it took 4 days actually?
It took 5 days.
5 days?
Yes, 5 days of negotiations from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock every night and back again at 8 o'clock.